raised your hand. What do you have to say? Oh. Okay, I don't know. What do you have to say? I see that you raised your hand. You want to share something with us? Okay, Asia shared. Okay, write it in the chat what you want to share. Asia says, your biggest realization after taking time to think about my very first old memory was tithing and offering in the church, even if she didn't have it. Yeah, because we're going to talk about that. It's connected to what you value. It's connected to what you value. And she valued going to church. And I'm certain she got a lot out of it. And it probably filled when you say she, maybe it's your mother. Let's just say it's your mom or your grandma or your aunt or whatever. Yes, your mother. Maybe you felt like your mom was like getting something that was valuable to her. And so even if she didn't have it, she figures on a whole nother level, let me try to put some money in here because I want to be able to tithe and to give back. And I think that's beautiful. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. It's very giving to want to give money, um, to want to give money to an institution that's dependent on congregations giving money. I mean, there's always a building fund. There's always, I know a lot of churches do wonderful things. Um, I'm from Gary, Indiana, and there's a couple of churches in Gary who take tithing money and they have a committee of people who, if somebody in the church um, can't pay the light bill or has something tragic happen to them, they take some of that money in the church and they give it to people in kind so that they can help people in their congregation who's suffering. And I think that's so important to make sure that we tithe. So yes, that's interesting. Tithing. Parents would make sure, So Marina said there's a lot of trauma in your reflection. Thank you for sharing. So you noticed some unpleasant experiences with regard to money. And I know for a lot of families, money can be connected to control. It can be connected to, you're going to do what I say because I make the more money. And that is something that you definitely, I don't know what your specific issue with traumatic instances when it comes to money, your first introduction to money, but that is something to note and to think about, Marina. How does it impact you now? How do you, having painful memories related to money in your past, how does it affect you now? That's something for you to think about and reflect on. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and then we have Rhonda. Rhonda said, my parents would make sure we knew how much change we would get back. Yeah, it was a math lesson for you. You had to kind of think about it. You're like, okay, if the bill comes up to $17 and I give them a 20, how much money do I get back? And you'd be like, oh, you get $3 back. Of course, it's never that even. It's like it'd be $7.15. How much money do you get back? I think that'd be $2.45, I think. I don't know, or 285. Sorry, 285 is how much money you would get back. So yeah, Rhonda, it's interesting. I didn't associate trauma with money, but this is something to about. Okay, yeah. So people do associate trauma. Oh, there's something to think about. Yeah, it is something to think about how painful memories can happen. I mean, just think about if you're growing up and money was a lack. How does that affect you today? It affects people in two ways. So if you grew up with a lack of money, some people grow up and they become real spendthrifts as an adult.